Well, today's opening match is Michin versus Chelsea Green in a no disqualification match. Street fight rules there. But before we even get to that, just moments ago, Michin's allies BFAB and Zelina Vega in this endeavor of wrestling, quite literally wrestling the titles away from Chelsea Green, found Piper Niven and Albert Fire, Sigrid Hervis, on their way to that match to help her, and decided to put some punishment on them before they get there. Even the odds a little bit. Michin's allies got a little bit more than what they were bargained for. But the goal, of course, is not to necessarily win, if you could win in such an endeavour, just do enough damage to prevent them from getting there. Because whilst the street fight is Michin's specialty, realistically, no disqualifications also helps Chelsea Green in any planned shenanigans. Which, of course, is pretty much how she's managed to hold on to her title for so long. Ultimately, though, they did achieve their goals. Well, whilst their allies feuded it out backstage, it does leave Michin completely allyless in the ring. But kind of even the odds a little bit. Or does it make them technically worse? What could have been 4v3 is now 2v1 if Fallon Henley wants to get involved. Arguably actually puts her in a weaker spot, but perhaps she scouted Fallon a little bit more and believes they're less of a threat. Certainly two less people to keep an eye on immediately whilst in the ring. And here is your president. The women's US champion with just Fallon Henley in tow. Off to defend her title yet again. As inaugural reigns go, it's not been a bad one for Chelsea Green. Admittedly, a lot of those defences through slightly unconventional / untoward / illegal means that have gone under the radar referees at times, but nonetheless, she's pulled out every trick in the book she can find and is still United States champion. And it is, of course, the United States Championship on the line, the Women's United States Championship. Featuring the challenger once again. Not a first attempt at this, and with no disqualifications. Street fight rules do, as I've said before, I don't know who they favour more. Michin the specialist, Chelsea the strategist, shall we say? We can be sure that she'll take advantage of those lack of disqualifications. Things are underway here between Chelsea and Michin. Chelsea with the early momentum. But pushing Michin into the corner. Michin definitely second best in these early exchanges. They exchanges as if actually Michin's hasn't got anywhere in this, but there we go. Brief flash of control for Michin there, but quickly lost somehow. Though, seemingly getting perhaps on top of this one. A little bit more. Chelsea in a headlock of sorts. But gets her way out of that. Of course, it's a street fight, so this is allowed. Did you miss? Somehow. Not really noticing that Michin was effectively on the ropes already. But Chelsea, of course, without the majority of her retinue. And to be fair, Michin without hers as well. If she wanted to call on them in the match itself, all of them probably needing a bit of rest now. Chelsea flies from the top rope and continues working Michin's arms here. But Michin finally getting back up and delivering a lovely jump kick. And it's Michin's turn to work a limb of Chelsea's. Going for the leg. Getting countered though. Trying to harm it further. But gets back control for a second. Chelsea's turn to put a big boot in and cause Michin to bleed. Quite badly, actually. Chelsea with the suplex. Actually, something more common out of Michin's repertoire. Maybe learning from Know Thy Enemy and all that. Michin throws Chelsea out of the ring, picks up the kendo stick for herself. Can't work out to get out of the ring though. Doesn't matter. Count out's still apparently a thing though. Michin delivering some kicks, and from the angle it was hard to tell. Was that Eat Defeat? Unless both ladies are about to be counted out here if they're not careful. Chelsea's back in. Kind of. This will help. I don't think really either lady came off well there. But for the love of God, please just put him back in the ring. Goes for the cover immediately. Michin kicks out. Chelsea's prepared. The arm prettier. Immediate cover. Still rolls the shoulder out. Chelsea's furious, as she always is. Begging Michin to get to her feet just to continue some form of assault here. But countered. Big blow to the back of the neck. And finally, the third member of the Secret Service is here. Pulling off Michin. Wait! We've lost Piper Niven and Alba Fire. Now, how the hell he's turned on her president? Well, no disqualifications, so Michin can capitalise. Might be a bit close for a rope break, this, actually. Chelsea does still kick out. The momentum has well and truly shifted here. As we do go for the Eat Defeat this time. That definitely was it this time. Move her away from the ropes. Just that lone kendo stick that only got used once lying there. And that's the victory. But yeah, of course, the main talk, not really seeing it here. Fallon Henley betrays Chelsea Green. She thought she could count on the third and final Secret Service member, even with Piper and Alba gone. Turns out she couldn't. We'll find out reasonings soon, but the question is why. Next up, though, is what could effectively be the final feud for Alpha Academy and American Made as a mixed intergender tag team match. Just to talk shop for a moment. I was hoping this would be 3-on-3, but there's no way to do intergender 3-on-3, so it's only 2-on-2. As Otis and Maxxine take on Chad and Ivy. Of course, Otis and Akira did put down the Creed Brothers relatively recently, and then Maxxine pulled out a super kick, take down Ivy Nile, courtesy of the influence of Jey Uso on the American Made. The shirt might say free Otis, but they might be freed of American Made should they win this, because the stipulation here is loser leaves Raw. Loser will be forced to switch to SmackDown. Maxxine comes out with the third and final member of Alpha Academy here. Kira's unfortunately not part of this fight, but he should have been. I wish he could be. Maxxine's stock certainly risen over recent weeks thanks to putting down Ivy Nile. We'll soon see if Alpha Academy can put down American Made for good. Everyone's least favourite Patriots. I don't know why American Made get to come out together, but Alpha Academy don't. So I can't wait for them to finally actually get their proper uniforms in-game. Yeah, the Creed's not part of this one, unfortunately. If I'd gone the way it would have been them instead of Chad, but Here's what it is. I might do with the tools I've got. It's a shame because there was actually a 3-on-3 intergender fight in NXT recently. So, shame they can't actually replicate that here. It'll be Chad and Otis to get things underway. Chad with the immediate flurry, but Otis took to turn around into his own corner. Chad wakes up just in time to counter that. But trying to finesse his way into a roll and a surprise count there. Chucks Otis over the ropes and knocks him out cold. Having a word with Akira. Need to pay attention here, Chad. Fortunately, the game doesn't understand distances. As he puts Otis back off again. I think that might reset the count. Yeah, it did. Which is good news. But thankfully, he's rolled them back in again. Don't have to worry about a count out here. I wish I could just turn countouts off because they're so irritating. For some reason, wrestlers don't seem to recognise the peril they're in half the time. As oh well, that would have been a great shot of Chad Gable's tattoo, which, yeah, if it was visible on Chad. Yeah, WWE might have had a bit of a blunder. The whole El Grande Americano situation. This will actually go live the same day as Rey Mysterio, I think, takes on El Grande. I think that's on the Saturday, isn't it? So, yeah, if you're not seeing that, I don't really want to spoil you, but yeah, WWE may have accidentally removed any mystique El Grande Americano had, or mystery behind that. If you were somehow swayed by the narratives, yeah, they kind of undid themselves a little bit. On Monday's Raw, nonetheless, I will say this. When I was starting writing storylines for this MyUniverse, in no way, shape or form could I have ever predicted El Grande Americano was the way the Chad Gable story was going to go. So, regardless of where that one pans out at WrestleMania, that gimmick's retired as Maxxine is allowed to break things up here. I wasn't sure what the intergender rules were, if I'm completely honest. Otis gets on top, maybe. Obviously, Maxxine putting down Ivy Nile the other week might give Otis a little bit of belief that he could take down his former mentor. Goes for the power slam. Just take a big boot to the head there, a rolling boot. Chad's fired up now. Straps are off. I do wonder if we're actually ever going to see the ladies in this fight. Chad could do with the metal plate there because he's almost knocked himself out. Otis kicks out with the cover though. Are they ever going to tap out here? I'm not sure what's going on. Otis drives. Oh, he's gone for the big move. Still kicks out of that, thankfully. I thought he was about to tag Ivy in. This for a moonsault. Otis might need to... Yeah, that move should not really be possible from a one arm. On a bloke like Otis. He did it with Braun Strowman, didn't he? I get him using his signature move on Braun Strowman. He's done that before. But, not that one. But he's got Chad. When Otis gets a hold of Chad, there's nothing Chad can do about it, really. Otis' strength is supernatural. But I'm not sure the ladies are actually ever going to be tagged in here. I thought he might have gone for that there, but no. Oh, it's a kind of Uso splash, really. Ivy breaks that up. Another tool taken. Finally, they're tagged in. Finally, another tool taken from the Uso playbook, maybe. Wait. Is Maxxine allowed to take on Chad, or is it meant to be lady on lady here? It is meant to be lady on lady here. Hey, if we were allowed to have Maxxine versus Chad in this, I would have just done 3-on-3. Intergender. Just removed the rules. But gets the suplex off. Does miss the follow-up, though. It is counted. Both Chad and Otis back to their feet on the outside of the ring. Back in their positions should they wish to be tagged in. Bit of a tag special, actually, today, in that we get... Oh, dear, Ivy, what happened there? In that we get the grudge match between the Kabuki Warriors and PFC next in a tornado tag, and then the title fight for Street Profits and DIY after that. Before we get to today's main event, which is Gunther versus Roman Reigns, the World Heavyweight title. Ivy with the run-up. This is it again. Maxxine's way more alert than she was in the first match between these two. I put it in a reasonable showing, actually, admittedly, the first time, but Ivy counters, goes to the roll-up. Still plenty of fight in both these women. I mean, they are both relatively fresh. Otis and Chad just went at it for 5 minutes. Ivy puts Maxxine in a neutral corner. Decides against the run-up this time because last 2 times it's failed, I think. Might be the reasoning there. Drives Maxxine to the mat from the top rope. Where are we going with this? Ivy lifts Maxxine. Maxxine elbow ring and writhing her way out of it. I slightly worried that Chad might go for a cheap shot there, but no. Pulls Ivy into the mat and not giving Ivy's face a moment's respite there, just 2 cheap shots. I mean, in a feud like this, I don't blame Maxxine for that, really. And there is that super kick. She used it last time to great effect. Chad that's the referee more than anything, actually. Didn't actually break the count, broke the referee. Is Maxxine about to do a splash? No. Ref's distracted by Julius Creed. But it's Maxxine that's taken the advantage of the distraction anyway, so... Although she's about to just slam both arms actually into the ground there. Knees Ivy in the... This is a brutal side of Maxxine we've not seen before. Ivy tries to escape, but Maxxine's with her. The fact that Ivy felt like she needed to roll out the ring to escape Maxxine Dupri says a lot about the way this dynamic has shifted in recent weeks. So the countdown's about to happen if we're not careful again. Akira, help her out here. Alright, now's not the time for that really, but... Maxxine's on her feet. Akira's on the top row. I don't know what he's doing. Distracting Ivy Nile. At the very least gets Maxxine back into the ring. She does get this suplex into her. And Ivy might not enjoy what happens next. Oh no, dodges it. Maxxine dodges the follow-up and... Oh, we get the super kick after all anyway. And that is that. And rather symbolically, it's the super kick that finishes it again. Even though, early on, Chad did have the momentum. We did see a Samoan splash of... Uso splash of sorts, I should say, sorry. From Otis. I wonder if we can see it in the replay here. At some point. Just Chad off the ropes, though. Moonsault. And off the ropes again this time. Forgetting he doesn't have the metal plate on his face this time. And hit Otis full force with his forehead instead of what he was ever intending to do. But there's a Chad special. Didn't do it against Braun Strowman, of course. What is the crowd looking at? I've just noticed in the background there during the replay. Why is the crowd looking at the entrance? There's the splash. Sort of. I'm sure if Otis necessarily got the notes. There's the cover. You don't actually see the super kick that preceded it, annoyingly, but Maxxine and Otis drive Chad Gable and American Made out of Raw altogether. Chad might have picked the wrong horse in this. And here is the, dare I say it, long-awaited return and grudge match for the Kabuki Warriors. Ever since Kairi was laid out by PFC, this match is effectively being penciled in for whenever they manage to return. Finally, we are there. Asuka and Kairi are back and ready to settle this grudge, having surprised Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark at the end of the tag team match they were having as an opportunity to put themselves up challenge for the tag team matches, the tag team titles, sorry. These two surprised what remains of the PFC, laying a beat down on this week's Raw. But naturally, this match follows. They're ready and raring to go, as their opponents don't annoyingly come out together, despite the fact they are effectively a tag team at this point. Zoey Stark first, striding with purpose towards the ring. I mean, I do suspect there might be more Kabuki Warrior fans than these two. At least the crowd's managed to turn around again now. And the other half of this equation, Shayna Baszler. No consequences, no stipulations for the outcome of this match in that sense. No one's being driven off their respective platform in this one. It is a tornado tag match, though all four will be in the ring at the same time. Which, you know, I guess is just a case of that Asuka and Kairi could work out really if they wanted to pick one in particular. So it will be both on both at all times. All right, we get things underway. That was judgment in the initial attack there, but Kairi's got Zoey. And Asuka is working her way out of Shayna's hold. And gets her with 2 feet to the face. The moonsault from Kairi might have actually aiming at Shayna there. Perhaps the positioning was just unfortunate and confused her. Bit of ring rust perhaps. Zoey and Asuka now, but Kairi's up. Elbow to the face though, for her troubles. Asuka suplexes Shayna though, and it's Zoey and Asuka now as Shayna just gets her senses back in the corner. Kairi catches Zoey though. That was magnificent timing and well worked. We won't talk about that part though. Kairi knocked out a bit there. Asuka's managed to get control back off Zoey Stark though. Was looking a bit powerless in the corner as both of them were bearing down on her. But, of course, as soon as you're done with Zoey Stark, Shayna Baszler's available. Why on earth was the ref stopping Kairi Sane there? What was that about? Why was he getting involved? Kairi fights out of that. And gets Shayna Baszler this time as well. But, once again, as soon as you dealt with one, the other PFC member is there to punish you. And now, actually, it might end up being 2-on-1. If Shayna stops gloating, they could really use the numbers advantage here. But no, he's popped her out the ring anyway, so... Oh, we have rolled up. Has to go immediately. Countered. Naturally, Zoey kicks that one apart. Kairi's countered Shayna. Got hold of it. Slammed her to the mat. And they rolled out, just for Kairi to follow her out anyway. Knee to the face of Zoey inside the ring. Kairi's inside. Just cover Zoey right now, for the love of God. Miscommunication. On for the submission instead. Got Shayna with that move for the 3rd time. They just made Asuka bleed just by elbowing her out. Who bled there? I swear they just made Asuka bleed just because Zoey elbowed out of the submission. What a weird way to break. I'm confused there with the sign in the background. I thought it said Bukayo Saka. I thought we just crossed sports there for a moment. I'll have to see that sign again. It's blue. It's in the background. A chair's come out. Crowd of 1 tables, I imagine, but a chair's a good start. Does get Shayna Baszler. Slightly worried she was going to... Sorry, the ref's been laid out. I missed that bit. 2-on-1 in the middle. This is where you make the numbers advantage work, if you can get it. Ref gets in the way. Asuka's gloating. For some reason. It's immediately met by Zoey Stark, but Kairi's got Zoey now. Oh, no, it isn't. It was Zoey's move. And that chair's now being reversed onto her. Shayna lands on the chair, which is a bit awkward, but at least the crowd is paying attention. I think Zoey misses her jump and actually lands on the chair. That's mildly unfortunate. Both of them go for Shayna. Asuka's got her this time, though. Oh, power bombs her onto the chair, picks up the chair, intends to use it. Can't work out how to get out of the ring with it. There we go. Just decides to leave it for her. Zoey was attempting something on Kairi's Sane, but Asuka's wise to it. Shayna's being counted out here. If they could get Zoey done here with this round of kicks and covered. No, Shayna's back in the ring. Kairi's not in there now. Oh, that's a sledgehammer. I really thought we were going for the cover while Shayna was laid out, but alas not. Kairi's worked her way out of that. Drops Shayna's knee onto the sledgehammer. Perhaps more inadvertently than anything, but now Shayna's laid out inside the ring. Asuka with the sledgehammer. Gets shocked by Shayna standing up, it felt like. We'll receive 2 boosts to the face. Zoey and Asuka now. Flips her over. Zoey with the cover. Kairi's outside the ring. Asuka can kick out of her own, though. Well, I feel like Kairi was trying something there with Shayna, but Zoey wasn't having any of it. Asuka now laid outside the ring, and Kairi at the mercy of both PFC. Sledgehammer's in Zoey's grasp. This might have backfired, the sledgehammer. As she gets caught on the rope by accident and drops the sledgehammer. And flips and suplexes Zoey onto the handle of the soup. Not as painful as it could have been. Oh, Asuka trying to deliver a powerbomb. Of sorts. I thought she was going to... When she turned around, I thought she was going to powerbomb onto the sledgehammer, but this picks it up now. Rams it into the gut. And then throws it into the face of Shayna. How's Shayna not bleeding off the back of that? Zoey's countered and now in Kairi's grasp. Asuka would lead a bit more punishment. Both PFC in 2 different corners now. Briefly. Zoey's worked her way out of Kairi's attempt. Shayna's still in... Well, we spoke too soon. Zoey can't do what she wanted to do. Shayna's covering Asuka. Which unless... Oh, well... I was about to say, unless Kairi can get back to the ring, but it feels like she was being dealt with. Zoey's thrown back in. Kairi follows. Asuka's got Shayna. Kairi's got Zoey. Shayna's got Asuka now, though. Sledgehammer's in Kairi's hands. Into the gut of Shayna once it goes. Once again it goes. The cover on Shayna. Zoey's trying to deliver a move from the ropes, but... Kicks out. Oh no, she wasn't delivering a rope. She was just taking a breather. I thought she'd gone up top for a moment. I think that's Zoey rolled up Kairi. It was difficult to notice. The camera wasn't helpful to us there. Oh, Asuka with the ref actually focused on the outside of the ring. Oh, there's a disqualification involved here anyway, but it was Asuka who was bleeding earlier. Actually, worth circling back to that. Just seeing the close-up. Bit of punishment being delivered to Zoey, but Shayna's also got Asuka. Both of them are trying to submit the other. The ref's focusing on one of them. Oh my god! The ref was focused on the submission of Shayna and Asuka, but Zoey was actually tapping out. The refs had an absolute nightmare. That won't be controversial at all. Into the ring Zoey goes. Asuka dodges. Spears. The cover's there. Zoey just tapped out a moment ago. Done for now there totally. Imagine if they'd gone on to lose that then. That would have been shambolic from the ref. Can't tell what I'm actually paying attention to there in these replays because obviously there's so much going on. This would be Asuka off the ropes, delivering the knee, I'd imagine. I do hope we actually get to see the ref making the wrong choice in the 50-50 on who to cover in the submissions. This cover's kicked out of. Which couldn't have been broken up because Kairi is outside the ring. Cover's kicked out as well with Kairi again being distracted by Zoey outside the ring this time round. Kairi delivering that while Shayna was dealing with Asuka in the background. But no, we don't. We don't see the submission attempt. The spear, though, comes out there to finish off Zoey Stark, who did actually submit. But the ref missed it. Kabuki Warriors get their grudge match victory, though. I mean, despite the fact that Asuka was the one who was bleeding, you don't really see it because he might be behind her fringe, but it doesn't actually look that roughed up otherwise. Well, after an intergender loser leaves Raw tag team match, followed by a tornado tag team match, it's nice to get things back into a nice normal tag team match, albeit with the title on the line. DIY the challenges in this one, having failed to get the title off Street Profits ever since they lost it in Barcelona. They've managed to defend it off all opponents between then and now. But DIY, having secured the latest shot at this title once again, will try and reclaim it once again. Fired up though are Gargano and Ciampa as always. Here we go though. Street Profits, the current WWE Tag Team Champions. Montez Ford and Anjo Dawkins raise a toast to their recent title reign, which has lasted the best part of 2 and a bit months at this stage. They have no reason to believe they won't continue today, based on recent form. But a big crowd reaction, of course. Champions well liked, even if their entrance does take about half an hour. I'll cut most of it out, don't you worry. This is for the titles. The challenge is DIY, of course. Now effectively without the titles as long as they had them in their run before they lost them to the Street Profits. Itching to get them back again. The Street Profits will be not willing to relinquish them anytime soon either, as those titles being put on the line. It's Gargano. I mean, not a great opening from either side there, but it's Gargano versus Dawkins. This is kicking things off here. Immediately going for the double team action. Smart move. Wear them down straight off. Attacking from both sides. Ciampa now legal. Getting a slam in. And a few cheap shots to the face. Just venting a bit of frustration maybe. Early doors. Dragging Dawkins to his feet. Probably not wise. Out comes the clothesline. And the return favour. Ciampa now the one to be a bit dazed and confused. Continues the punches. But countered. Into their corner he's thrown again. And will we see another? Yes, we will. DIY working together really well in the early stages. Over the ropes. Something sounded like it broke there. Crikey. I do hope that was a sound effect. Never did see that sign in the background. That's, like I said, Bukai Osaka. Gargano tries to deliver an elbow. Dawkins tries the kick. Fails miserably. What is going on in this match? Did they have tequila in those cups when they came out? Blimey. Someone can't judge distances today. And into the corner, Dawkins goes again for the third time. It is another tag. It is another double team. Going high and low. Dawkins tries to roll out, but Gargano actually stops him, just by virtue of where he was walking. More accidental than anything, I think, but we'll pretend it was deliberate. Now working the arm. Dawkins has been on the receiving end of everything, really, so far. Into the corner. Nope. Ciampa in the corner. Really need to be doing this in their own corner, but off the turnbuckle. Lifts and twists. Trying to get Ciampa to tap out. He's not going to do that. That's well kicked out of. Blimey. The force of Dawkins there. Not exactly an easy man to move out of the way. Again, double team. Seen this one already. Over the top, and there we go. Maybe he'll get the kick off this time. No, he doesn't. Gargano clutching his back. Heard that in the process, and Dawkins shows you how to do it. Finally, he's adjusted the distance correctly. Into their corner he goes. Montez Ford disrupts any attempt at a double team there just by punching Gargano back into the middle of the ring. Double team action once again, though, with Dawkins rolled into that corner. New move this time round. Not seen this one yet in this match. Covers in. Montez, is he going to stop Montez from coming in? He's using the rope. I think the ref noticed it. Why pulling out the double team action every 30 seconds at this rate? Dawkins gets out of that one and delivers. And finally, Street Profits might get a bit of momentum again. Montez Ford hasn't even entered the ring yet, and DIY have changed about 8 times. They've got Dawkins again. Montez now begging for that tag. Saw him enter stage right with his arm. Here we go again for the 9th time. I've lost track. It might be about that. Delivering a double kick. And that's now 5 different double team moves I think we've seen from DIY. Dawkins is now laid outside the ring. It is Ciampa legal. Need to get him in the ring though. Drags him in to deliver the knee. This will not help Ciampa. Or at least get in the ring to beckon him in. Beckon him in. Either let him come in or go back out again to reset the count. There we go. Now throw him in the ring. Dawkins is not... Is Dawkins drunk? What is going on here? Well, he's put Ciampa in, so at least this count won't go to 10 anywhere near it. 4 count we got to. I really feel like Dawkins ought to tag Montez Ford in by now. He's thrown him into his own corner. I mean, if... Well, it's a shame the game can't recognise this, but if Montez had any wherewithal right now, or AI based on it, he would tag himself in. But the game doesn't recognise that, seemingly. And now Dawkins is just getting beaten up in his own corner. Montez is now getting beaten up as well for good measure. No, he isn't. Gargano might have got a bit cocky there because count out obviously in the favour. Oh, he's throwing Montez in. Never mind. Over the ring. Dawkins. Powerbomb. Is that the first actual pin attempt? No, there was a pin attempt earlier, wasn't there, actually? Because I wasn't sure if Montez Ford was going to get it. And it was done off the ropes. I remember now. Blimey. Feels so long ago already. Yeah, Ciampa was trying to use the ropes and got spotted. And finally, Montez Ford is tagged in. Drags Gargano. Off the ropes. Twice he's taken that. Once off both partners, I think. Goes for the cover. Ciampa really not actually... Either he came in and we didn't see it on the last pin attempt. He's barred from taking that one this time. Or he just had belief in Gargano. But stomps on Montez Ford and we'll get Ciampa back in. Once again, into their own corner he's thrown. The tag is made and finally we see double team action from the Street Profits instead. What a move this is. Ciampa quite literally on the ropes right now. Putted into it. Montez Ford actually interrupts Angelo Dawkins' attempt there. Moves him out of the way as he was trying to jump from up on high. Ciampa will fight out of this. But won't fight out of this from Montez Ford. Goes for the leg drop. Count-out rules actually obviously benefit the Street Profits. Not that it matters anyway, because it might be DIY who gets counted out here. But, well, they tried to roll Ciampa in, but he's done it of his own accord in the end. I'll take that. The cover comes in right in the corner, though. He could rope break this if he wanted to. He had the wherewithal. Actually kicks out of one, remarkably. And Ciampa's taking a bit of punishment at this stage. Surprised he had the wherewithal to do that. Ball back in, though. Ciampa playing games, is it? Or Montez playing games? I couldn't work out which way that one's going. Gargano begging for the tag after that. Thrown off the ropes and hoisted over. Dawkins back in. I mean, Ciampa was right there. He could have tagged Gargano in. That's folly on his part. No, he's just, yeah, baited that in. Gargano's kicked off the ropes as well for good measure. When he wants to go for a pin, he's got to put him in the ring first, and has done. Stomps on Ciampa's foot. Up on high, Gargano threatens with a punch. Gargano catches and counters the big man. That is impressive. Reflexes and strength. Tag made. And I think we're actually seeing the 6th and maybe final. No, Montez Ford is there to break it up. Double team move into a neutral corner. Gargano now with the surprising strength. Drives Dawkins into the turnbuckle. Brings Ciampa back in. Dawkins laid out. Just a few cheap kicks. I don't really know where Ciampa's going right now, if I should be honest. Yeah, okay, that wasn't great from the game. Gargano catches the dazed and confused Dawkins. Drags him to the middle of the ring. Gets him in a submission. Doesn't tap, but releases anyway. Into their corner he goes. What a double team. Works the leg. Counters. And it's Dawkins' turn to... No. Gargano rise out of it. Hot tag made, though. Gargano slow to react to that. And might pay the price for it. I mean, Dawkins is basically unconscious at this point, though. Oh, no, he's awake now. Gargano's turn to have face meet turnbuckle. Ford lifts him up once again. Smashes his face into that turnbuckle now. These tag matches have been brilliant of late. Into the submission hold now Montez Ford goes, but I saw that one quicker than Dawkins did. You cannot halt the effort of every person involved in these tag matches in this division. They do not leave anything in the ring. I think Dawkins could break this up if he wanted to. He doesn't. Johnny decides Tommaso might have a better time with things here. Bit of fuel in the tank perhaps of Ciampa that Gargano's expended. Nope. Countered. Taken out of the knees. While Montez Ford is doing that. Oh, Gargano plays on the return. Shouldn't have believed him. Shouldn't have believed him, Montez. I think actually Ciampa kind of got in the way of what Gargano wanted to do there. Another submission attempt, though. Works out away that one instantly. The crowd's still shouting submit about 3 seconds after he's already out of it. Ciampa back in again. Actually, I think I may have missed how Gargano got in the first place. Oh. That leg's got a hurt after that. Montez might be limping the rest of this match. I mean, DIY do love a tag, don't they? Nonetheless, that's giving Montez time to recover. And that might be the downfall, actually, of DIY here. The relentless tagging. Oh, before they can get a double team in, Gargano counters, but laid out nonetheless. And basically punched back into the corner, and the double team happens anyway. Hoisted over again, though. Thought he was about to roll out, but just actually just goes to the ropes. Which has not worked well any of the previous times he's done that. And surprise, surprise, hasn't worked well this time. Does the same to Ciampa as well. Ciampa actually reacts quite well to that. Gargano's trying to make him submit on the outside of the ring, which is obviously not going to work, but just weakening him up a bit, perhaps. You do need to get him in the ring, though, Johnny. You do remember the rules here. You're on 7, Johnny. Into the ring. Oh, well, that'll work. Oh, actually, no, it didn't work. We did get to 9 and we both got in the ring. I don't care how it happens, they got it to happen. Oh, well. Johnny uses all his moves on the outside of the ring there and still gets double teamed the second he gets back in. Into the cover. Ciampa will break this one up. I can see it coming. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, Gargano kicks out anyway. Ciampa gets lucky there, I think. Oh, Gargano catches Montez Ford. No, he doesn't. Again, Johnny, stop going to the ring. Stop going to the ropes. It's not worked for you any time previously. Twice he's jumped over, and yeah, there we go. Dawkins, I don't know what happened with Dawkins and Ciampa, but he's now unconscious inside the ring. Into a corner. What's happening here? What is happening? I think he effectively landed that, but he landed it on Dawkins. Into a neutral corner, Johnny goes. Montez Ford gets him. Ciampa also won't be able to break up a pin here because he entered the ring to deal with Dawkins, weirdly, when he was being pinned last time round. Christ, Ciampa's not doing something about this. Oh. Montez did. And this might be that. No, actually it isn't because he's gone for Dawkins. Tagged him in. Delivers a hefty elbow. Just for good measure. Just in case Johnny Gargano wasn't already out like a light. Three poppers retain again. I mean, some excellent moves in this match. One of the many, many double teams. Many. Off the ropes he goes there. Another one. Is this? Yes, this is another one of the tags. Is the high and low. I think this highlight reel might be about 5 minutes long in its own right. That was a heck of a match. And there's the confusing pin where Ciampa went for Dawkins instead of breaking the pin up itself. Not that it mattered, he did kick out anyway. But surprising move there from Ciampa. There's the final pin. And the retain. Popular choice, I think. There's some boos in there though, weirdly. Considering they were cheered on entrance, a bit weird they're being slightly booed now. Game getting a bit confused, I think. Two huge names collide in tonight's main event as Roman Reigns accepted the challenge from Gunther. Now happy to have someone he views on his level. Again, as it is every time that Gunther's involved. Now that things have progressed between the release of WWE 2K25 and now between Gunther and Jey Uso, I'm pretty certain I've got it wrong on my prediction on who's going to win that one as of the point of starting this save. Too late to retcon that, obviously. Also, weirdly, accidentally, I have forgotten to put Paul Heyman in here, but who's to say he's actually still going to be attached to Roman Reigns following WrestleMania? That's certainly a question mark. We'll find out. Actually, again, also, that's on the Saturday night, the main event, isn't it? So, same day. Find out later if you're watching this vaguely live. So perhaps it's best that I haven't included him here. But our tribal chief is here to command Raw. He set out his intentions straight away and is immediately acting upon them. He's ready. The crowd's, I think, doing the correct thing. It's all gone a bit weird and slow and repetitive in the back. I don't know what's happened there. Are they raising a finger? I think they are. Kind of hooked weirdly, but not as bad as Jey-Uso's situation, is it? Let's be real. I don't know why they keep raising the... rather than just doing it once and staying there. Roman is ready. Gunther. Yeah, in this world, Gunther fended off Jey-Uso, dispatching him as the subpar opponent that he was anticipated to be from Gunther. I'm not saying Jey-Uso is a subpar competitor, but obviously, as outcomes go, that's how it's solidified in Gunther's mind. As he did leave WrestleMania in this universe victorious. Truthfully, like, even in this universe where I think I've got it wrong, Jey-Uso probably ran him a little bit closer than Gunther was anticipating, but nonetheless, he prevailed. The ring general. Perhaps behind the OTC, though, that's for sure. Okay, crikey. A burst of noise is coming through. World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Tell you what, though, this ref's had a busy night, isn't he? He's been involved in every single match. Must remember to go in and alter them more often. It's curious also that Alicia Taylor is default for the PLE, but not for a regular SmackDown or Raw. From this facial expression there, we won't talk about. That's not 2K25's finest showing there. The Heavyweight Championship on the line. Quite literally getting to grips with one another. Gunther chucks the Tribal Chief to the ground, though, and back into grapple. This time, Roman seemingly getting the upper hand. Again, quite literally. But Gunther manages to break out of it. Twist Roman. Drops the knee. And tries to drop his coccyx. Roman chucks the Gunther into the ref. By accident, admittedly. Maybe. Gunther's got hold of Roman again. Ring general. Up against the Tribal Chief. Takes a clothesline. And going for the Vulcan nerve pinch. I'm not quite sure what was going on there. Gunther steps out temporarily, but straight back in. Dragging Roman to the ropes. Crushing him against them. This time he does manage to leap on top of him. Oh, goes for the chop, but gets countered. The trademark chop from Gunther there, not following through. The arms coming out. Clothesline in, but... I guess we shouldn't be surprised. Oh, delivers a punch to Seth, though, before he can get anywhere. Demands to be paid attention to there. And, well, there we go. They've not noticed, but this match is over. The second Seth touched. Gunther wins. I mean, he's sort of happy about it. No, Gunther retains. By disqualification. Doesn't look super pleased by that, though. I mean, he's happy he's still got the belt. He's still going to show it off. If you know anything about Gunther, though, he does appreciate the sanctity of the sport of wrestling. So, I can't imagine, actually, he's going to be pleased about that. Obviously, Roman definitely isn't. Oh, Seth, what have you done? But anyway, if you enjoyed this episode, do like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching. We'll be sure to deal with the aftermath of this immediately next on Raw. Until then, bro.